We are live. I hope. Hi, Valerie. Hello, YouTube. I hope you're there. I'm so bad at figuring out to make sure all this stuff is actually working. There's a little check mark by my YouTube emoji face, so I think that means it's working. I'm going to take that as a positive. Okay. So, hello there, everybody. I'm chatting with Valerie today about writing and about particularly this anthology that you guys are putting together over on the Bridges of Meaning writer server. So, first of all, let's talk about your experience on the writer server.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I've been a member for quite a few years. I think I came in the tail end of when you and Sherry were more um, the admins and everything, helping to
Mm-hmm,
facilitate a lot of things like the
mm-hmm,
knitting club and all that kind of stuff. It's not as busy as Bridget the Meaning. It's a little bit slower,
mm-hmm,
um, but people are very supportive. It tends to be more voice oriented than um, a lot of action in the channel. So like the German club and there's the poetry and there's a sharing thing where people can share their pieces and stuff like that.
mm-hmm,
And most people are pretty supportive and feedback and stuff is really nice. Um, and then I in one of the voice chats I ended up bumping into Josh, who
mm-hmm,
was just thinking of the idea. He got some of us together for a voice chat. Excuse me, I apologize. And includes Sherry.
mm-hmm,
Um, and she was an admin at the time, and still is, I believe, but life and stuff is busy. Um, and she, she was, we were all like, yeah, this sounds like a great idea. We'd like to do a writers group. And we didn't really have that. And the structure was kind of loosey goosey because it was like, what do we want to do? And it kind of gravitated like, let's just meet and talk and share our stuff.
mm-hmm,
And then it kind of morphed into let's meet and just write on our stuff. And then we go back and forth between writing some stuff and chit chatting during it, and then um, and then sharing and critiquing and giving feedback. And I find the feedback from Josh and the guys really very helpful. It's like, oh, okay, I didn't even think of that. That's a really good
mm-hmm.
point. Let me fix that. um,
Right.
and so it mostly it it went, so I think we started, like, 2 years ago in October or something, September, October, something like that, and I just really loved it because, I used to work in media production, and mostly media people tend to be more skewed liberal because there's higher in openness, like, as the Big 5 personality tells us, we're like, "Oh,
Mm-hmm,
I didn't know this." Um, and, ironically, they're very woke, very, liberal, very creative, very interesting, progressive people. And some of them are wonderful, dear people. I was friends with a bunch of them. Um, but, it's like I didn't really want to be part of a writers group again that, I had to like, yeah, here we go again, and I'm not a confrontational person. So, and just because it was a self-selecting group, born out of the writers of the Bridges of Meaning community.
mm-hmm,
Um, we're all kind of like-minded. We may not be like-minded in politics, but we're like
mm-hmm,
free speech, just kind of more settled, more nuanced in our thinking, not just like binary right or left kind of thing. It's like it's some of the what the left says is good, some of what the right says is good, some of what each side says is bad, you know. And so it's a little more give and take, and like not you know hyper culture war. It's not really
mm-hmm.
that way on the budget readings writers server. Um, and it would just like-minded people tend to gather, and then they trickled into the writer server, and everybody's kind of chill. It's like,
Mhm, mhm,
which is kind of nice. Um, and so we progressed for a few. years, and Jordan kind of joined us, and it ended up. I apologize. My nose is beginning to like rip.
Oh no,
Yeah,
you do what you need to do. It's that
yeah.
season.
I'm like I'm not professional because I'm having
I
to
know
bite my
it's
nose on
fine.
camera, but this is live, guys.
No,
Um,
well, you know what? Apparently, like, people don't like too polished because, like, with the TikTok generation where it's like, oh, just on with my phone. Apparently, that's
oh, they want to
in.
be
So we don't want to be
authentic.
too polished. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I actually watched the gentleman who's doing kind of like from the heart daily thoughts. I forget the gentleman's name. I can send you the information later, but he's a voice talent who has a home studio, and he's a YouTuber. He's got
Mhm,
numerous channels, and this is his smallest project YouTube channel yet. And he's just like sharing things from the heart and being authentic. But he talks about how, you know, I'm a voice talent. I know about microphone technology, so I'm using this to augment to make me sound more natural and more authentic
mm,
because I understand the production needs and production quality. And but I'm not like doing a bunch of editing, which
mm,
nothing against editing, he says, because this is a visual medium. It's like, um, but some people, you know, the media is a manipulative art form. It
mhm,
In order to tell the story well, um, it it has tools to do it with, and so right now we just have like a conversation going. We don't have any bells and whistles and things, and
mhm.
that's fine. Hopefully, my mic on my headset doesn't give us feedback, so let me know if we have issues.
It's
I'll try to
fine. Yeah.
fiddle with stuff, but um, yeah. So sort of a rabbit trail there, but
No, no,
being
I love
authentic,
rabbit trails here.
and
Yeah, please.
I think I think the authentic needs to be you know just being a sincere person.
Mm,
Not worrying if there's bells and whistles or if there's not or if there is bells and whistles, whether the person is just being, sincere and honest, and they don't have to tell us the whole life story. As this is the
mhm,
internet. Like you can have
mhm,
some privacy. It's okay.
mhm.
You have permission to have your privacy. A lot of people
So,
forget that.
just like speaking of rabbit trails, which are fine, but
Oh
let's
yeah.
go. Yeah, yeah. So you were talking about somebody. Was it? You said
Oh, Jordan.
Jordan came. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
Thank you for bringing me back to
yeah, yeah.
on track. So Jordan, great guy. And probably 6, 8 months in or something, I'm probably forgetting, the guy will have better memory than I do. Um, he actually thought of, what we could do is we could do a collaborative book project and kind of galvanize the community a little bit. And like, that sounds cool. I want to be a part of this. Sign me up. And then it kind of gravitated where we have some people come and go, but it ended up being the three of us being the main writers group. We have one gentleman whose name I'm blanking on. I apologize. I'm like, I can see your avatar, but he's a graphic artist and he does comic book stuff. So he'll come
Mhm,
and sometimes, you know, work on his graphic arts comics while we're doing writers group. So we were all working on different projects, and he just hangs out with us.
mhm,
He comes and goes depending on his schedule and stuff. So we're a pretty informal group. Pretty easy to just hang out. We meet every Thursday night from I think at 8 p.m. Eastern time, and we
mhm.
usually go by maybe an hour or two depending on the guy's schedule. They're the one on the East Coast, so it's like, yeah. I'm like, I can keep going, but sometimes I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah, with the
My
time
brain is
difference. Yeah.
I have no idea what I'm doing. So, and we cheat a little bit. We work on other projects. Like, one night Jordan was working on modeling,
Mhm,
models, kind of thing. Is but we've been working on so the I went side trail again. Um, so he came up with the collaborative book project. In the beginning, we called it Rabbit Trails because what
okay.
else are you going to call it,
Yeah.
And it was a working title. And then I did some research and I found out there are a whole bunch of anthologies with rabbit trails. I'm like, that's going to be a little hard to market.
Right, 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 right. Yeah, you don't want it to have like the same name as all these other. Yeah.
Yeah, and then so we worked on it together, and other people came on board. One here, couple here, and all this kind of stuff. And then we had so it's not this we uh we try to let people know as best as we can as through the channels that we're allowed to. You know, we can't ping everybody all the time. I can, since I am a admin on the writer server now, thanks to Nolan. Um, but I can ping everybody if I want to. I don't abuse it.
Mhm. Well, that's
I
good.
just let them know when we have interesting stuff going on. It's like, hey, this is happening. You know, it's like, check it out. But I cannot do everybody at the bit of the meeting. I got a little slap on the wrist. I'm like,
Okay.
oh, okay, sorry. This is, this is a community thing, so I thought it was okay, but nope, nope. I'm like, oh, okay, I behave, I behave.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So going over to so this is how the community sort of formed for and the weekly goings on. You have one meeting once a week. Is that
Yes,
correct?
yep.
And so you're working on what kind of work? Are we talking stories? Are we talking poems, like those sorts of things?
We have a smattering of everything. Um, we have mostly nonfiction pieces. We do have some fiction pieces. We even have a sample, not a sample, but a segment of a screenplay. So a lot of people contributed many different things. Mostly, we do have like 3 or 4 or 5 um, fiction. So it is this mix of fiction and nonfiction.
Hmm.
I did 3 nonfiction kind of articles, like uh, chapter kind of things on different topics. Um, Most everybody else did one piece. I was like, I can't do this 8,000 word thing. I'm gonna do little pieces.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's like I'll do little pieces, and I'll get my word count up that big. But but it was pretty. We tried to go for quality over
Hmm.
quantity. We also collected quotes. We did a crowdsourcing on both servers, looking for quotes to insert into the book uh, from the community or from our little sphere, or just interesting quotes at all.
Hmm.
Anything on the theme of the anthology book project is community, and
Okay.
I could tell you the story when you're ready for it.
Yes. Okay.
Um,
So I think that we've kind of set the stage of like what where the anthology book is coming from. So there's
yeah.
this, the writer group.
Hmm.
So you are like, let's officially introduce the anthology.
Yes.
So you guys are putting together an anthology book,
Yes.
and so that's why we're here today, is to talk about that and to spread the message of it. And
Thank you.
so yes, I am. Please take it away. We are ready to hear about the
Okay,
anthology.
I can go through the spiel.
Yes, about
Okay,
the project. Yeah.
so to summarize, uh, we changed from the rabbit trail to writers of meaning and anthology on community. Anthology on community was born because we wanted to um, have a book done by the community for the community about community.
Okay.
And but the reason we chose community was inspired by Paul Vanderklay, because his big thing, he keeps beating the drum of community um, in church life and regular life and everything like that. And we wanted to do something in honor of the how so many people may not know this, but Bridges and Meaning Discord server was started by one of the estuary members of Paul Vanderklay's estuary group, which originally was called the Jordan Peterson Meetup. They had a small group thing. They had it kind of evolved into a protocol to facilitate people having meaningful conversations about different topics
Mm-hmm.
without people monopolizing the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So a more give and take, more richer, deeper, just instead of just general surface level chit chat. It 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 was more of a bonding experience and exploratory kind of conversation for people who are open-minded, and you can come from all walks of life,
Mhm.
and so we wanted to honor that, because the Discord was started not just as an online group, it was started to facilitate in real life community. So
Mm.
to help people like the Chicago meetup and all the other little meetups that are around. I'm unfortunately in Colorado and I have nobody within 2 hours drive of me. So it's like,
Mhm.
so I can't really start one right here. So I'm like, I'm gonna do this book project and help get the word out about estuary.
Mm.
And so, um, w we really love the online community. It's not perfect. There's some flaws, and people are people, and, you got broken shards and people, meh, kinda thing. But the spirit of the Discord is supposed to be this, you know, free speech zone that's not turning everybody into a bunch of jerks. It's
Mm.
really
Mhm.
about having good faith conversations with people of different worldviews than yourself, whether they be believers or non-believers of different religions, um, and agnostic, atheist. I think we have some Muslims in there.
Mhm.
Um,
Okay.
so it's like it's really about just facilitating having interesting conversation. It goes from ranges from general chit chat to how are you doing kind of stuff to like big diatribes in the in the forum,
Mhm.
which I'm not a controversial, confrontational person, but a lot of stuff gets worked out intellectually if it's done in the right spirit,
And
and
this is on the
that's what
Bridges
the
of
Discord
Meaning, the main
that's what it's
Discord group.
supposed to
Yeah.
be, and that's the ideal, and
Mhm.
they mostly live up to that. Some
Mhm.
people, there's been people are people, so it's like it's not perfect kind of thing. People are messy. Um, but that's the ideal of the Discord, and that's the ideal that inspired the book.
M'kay.
Yeah. And so I try to tell people about this, explaining this because they just think it's another online community, and it's so much more. And so and with the epidemic of loneliness, especially male loneliness, this was like really important to us, you know.
Mhm.
And so, I tried to do some research into doing male loneliness stuff, and I couldn't, get accurate statistics that
Oh.
Josh was helping me with, like, because he's a psychologist training, but and I'm like, I'm not a good researcher, so help me with this, please. And it's like, nope. So I did some other pieces, but
Mhm.
um, we all put our 2 cents in and tried to make it the best quality as we could. Um, it's r- it's a really nice project to be working alongside each other with and facilitating stuff with each other. So not only just us as the core group of the writers of meaning, but also all of the contributors and the volunteers, and also all of you,
Mm.
in the Bridges community, and also people fans of Andrea with Bangs. You know, this is also for you too. It's a way to have a dialogue about community and estuary. I can
Mm.
go into a little piece about our cool things that we got, about estuary.
Well,
Uh,
yeah, so for those who don't know, I mean, we know what estuary means in the traditional sense of the
mhm,
salty and the
yeah,
freshwater meaning. So, but to those who don't know what it means, what the context is for it, please, if you could tell us.
sure. So Paul Clay is a pastor in Sacramento, California. He has a dear friend, whose name is John Bondoc. I hope I'm saying that right. Dutch names. Um, so the two of them collaborated together to create this small group protocol to facilitate deep, meaningful conversation with people of wide variety of worldviews, um, and be productive. And so church people have a lot of experience with small group discussions.
Mhm.
So this was born from their experience and fine tuning it and figuring stuff out. And estuary is basically like a small group, club that's open to new and fresh members. So just like an estuary is open to very strange creatures from the sea and
Mm,
local local fish and creatures from the river, there's a wide mix
mm,
of stuff, and it creates this vibrant ecology.
mm.
I think I'm saying the right word.
Yeah, no, it is.
Environment.
Yeah.
Right, environment. I'm trying to sound smart. It's not happening.
No, it
Okay.
is. No, it was. You had me. Yeah.
Okay. Um, so, it's I had this wonderful conversation with the lady who volunteered with, um for the graphic arts design, and she is part of the estuary community. She came at it she's not as familiar with Discord itself. She's just really busy with family and work and stuff, but she's part of John Van Donk's, um, estuary protocol host network. So she goes on these monthly meetings where whoever the hosts are kind of confab and work together, and he tutors them and stuff in the protocol. It's not very complicated, it's actually very simple. But, sometimes facilitating uh, conversations in a productive way does require some savvy and
Mhm,
nuance and
mhm.
understanding social cues and all that kind of stuff of
Kinda
reading the room and
guiding
stuff.
the
Yeah, it's
conversation,
not
yeah.
complicated, but it's anybody can do it, but it helps to facilitate little nuance so that somebody doesn't actually, a talker doesn't manipulate the whole
Mhm,
2-hour conversation. It gives everybody a chance to talk
mhm,
and vote on the conversation and stuff. So she was actually doing something very similar in her church choir, and
mm.
her friend discovered Paul Van de Clay, and she's like, "Hey, someone's doing exactly what we were doing,"
That's
and
so
so they got
cool.
involved, and so she came at it from a different perspective, from estuary actually,
Mm.
and uh, so did I answer your question?
Oh, I think so. Yeah, no,
Okay.
what is estuary? And, well, it's also in person as well. That's
Yeah.
the one piece that,
Yes.
like, you explained
Yes.
what is done with it, but it's not online, it's supposed to be in person, right?
Yeah, there's just an embodied experience of being with people
Mhm.
that there's that dynamic that we lose online. Online is
Yeah.
great for like you and me, you're in Canada, I'm in the US, it facilitates friendship and dialogue. So face to face is better than voice, voice
Mhm.
is better than text, blah blah
Mhm.
blah blah blah. But embodied, conversations like I have a group of friends who they call themselves the Geek Family, and so we meet every Friday, and for meals and games and whatnot, and they're just a dynamic of just being with people
Mm.
that you like and respect,
Mhm. Mhm.
and it's just I don't know how to articulate it. I'm sure there's books written about it,
Well, this is the
and if
community
you
thing,
are
right?
watching and you know of those books, go ahead and put them in the comments.
Mhm.
Uh, but
But
yeah,
isn't it like that's the spirit of community and
yes,
of embodied in-person relationships?
yes.
So I went to Germany and was a speaker for an estuary get together conference in October, and so that was the first time I've seen one in person,
Mhm,
and it what it felt like. It felt almost like it felt like other like church conferences I've been to, but not church. And that's sort of the
mhm,
important piece is that it's not a
right,
religiously affiliated. It's but people are open to speaking about meaning and these sorts of anything that comes along with that. And
yeah,
when you go to a place that you know is looking for open chatting about this or that, that's maybe odd to talk about. Like if you go to say a political conference,
mhm,
I would be like, no, thanks.
yeah,
Because that would be the topics, right?
yeah.
I'm not that's not my favorite. to be
Yeah.
honest. But
Yeah.
when you're going to a conference that is ideas based, like the idea of open dialogue about meaning,
Mm.
um, it's it sort of helps to constrain in a good way,
Right.
right? It's sort of like the sides of the floodplain, like are the
Yeah.
banks. It's the
Yeah.
banks. And so that's something that I find the estuary concept very interesting and important, and maybe something that will be even more important as the online landscape goes to continue to connect people more
Mm.
and more. I
Mm.
mean, honestly, if I wasn't, in my height of momming right now, it would be something that I would think, "Oh, is there some way I can do one here?" But I am not in a space.
Yeah.
I'm barely on the Discord ever. I barely even post on my channel. Like these live stream opportunities, at least it's done and it's there on my channel.
Yeah.
So I feel like sad that I can't contribute more, but it is something that I do think is important. I'm going on a little bit of a monologue here, Valerie. I hope
No,
that's
it's
okay.
fine.
Well, just from my perspective of going from finding the Discord during COVID or just before, but close
Mhm.
to around COVID was, and then having this space of, oh, we don't need church because I've got the Discord. I don't
Yeah.
need to worry about seeing friends. I've got the Discord. That was sort of the mentality, and when I go in, I go all in, and so I was on all the time.
Ah.
And it's something that was good for the time, but I was on probably way too much, to be honest. I was like, oh, I've got a minute. I'll go on the chat. But it's I was all in for like thinking, oh, you don't have to have embodied relationships. Like I didn't throw them away. I was just we weren't allowed to see each other in person. So but now that it's been years since I am back on the train of embodied relationships are good
Yeah.
and
Hey,
preferable, to be
yeah.
honest.
I have one friend who's like during Discord, our geek went directly to Discord. I mean, during COVID, our
Hmm.
geeks went directly to Discord,
Hmm.
and it was okay. It allowed a lot of us to connect with people who live further away who couldn't usually join us on Fridays.
Hmm.
But there was like people monopolized the conversation because
Hmm.
you didn't have an actual physical room to actually just switch your mental attention from one conversation to the other. It was kind
Mm.
of dominated, and it was good for the time, but it
Hmm.
made us all realize how integral and vital and n- you know embodied meetings were. We had taken it all for granted. And it's like one of my friends was like, "I'm done with this Discord," and it was still in the heights of COVID, and she just it didn't, because she was an extrovert and she really thrived on that energy of the room kind of thing.
Mm.
And
Hmm.
I don't think she would have articulated it that way, but that's what my my gut reaction was for her. It looks like we have a question. Um,
Oh.
yeah.
Oh, I completely forgot that you could look at comments.
Yeah, can I
Oh gosh. Okay.
can, Tenson, can I participate in this Thursday group? Is it through Zoom? I am participating in John Van Donk's Estuary leadership training 2 times a month. Okay, so the writers group is, weekly, um, on Thursdays, in the actual writer server Discord server. Um, we can put a link at the end of the video. Um,
Yeah,
c-
I'm looking to find. I want to see if I can do an invite
yeah.
in the comments right now. But please
So
continue.
we apologize. We don't meet on Zoom. We just meet in the Discord, which has video capability, but we only do voice. Just because it's easier for us. Some people do put their cameras on, and they're welcome to do that. Like the comic book artist, likes to put his camera on and let us see what he's drawing, which is kind of fun. He's got a camera that goes above his stuff, and so he talks to us while he's drawing. It's really fun. Um, and let's see.
Okay, so I sent the link for the writers server,
Yes. So
and I mean, I
so
will put it in the show notes once this like goes from live stream over to like my channel or whatever.
sure, yeah, that's
But for
fine.
right now, it's in the comments.
Okay, and then the next question is when dozens or more move into a big compound in the name of embodied relationship, the social dynamics go final cult phase.
What does that mean?
She's talking about cult, like what happened with Waco and stuff like that.
So
Uh,
it doesn't have to go there.
it does not. It depends on the leadership and the people. So, what we're talking about is just like my group of friends hanging out. We're
Right,
talking
because you're not going to a
estuary.
compound, right? You're going to
Yeah,
someone's home for an evening.
yeah,
Yeah.
someone's home to, Starbucks to hang out and talk in their back meeting room, whatever they have. It's just it it's the social relationship. It's not somebody trying to control other people. Um,
Mm,
that's a whole other thing. And I actually was going to do a piece on like when community goes bad, and that was one of
mm,
the things I thought about. But you know, because I'm not very good at research, it's not that great of a piece yet. So maybe in the future I'll do it for my blog or something like that. But I mean, that's an interesting point.
mhm,
There are some negative stuff to community, but because um, I think probably the dynamic is, you know, we always fall back to our weakest link is a phrase I remember my dad telling me
mm.
years ago. And we have to account for the vices and foibles and I can't say the word.
Idiosyncrasies?
Thank you. Yeah. This is why I'm not a voice talent. Like,
It's just
whereas
a
I
funny
can
word.
I can spell some of the words,
Yeah,
and
oh,
I
I
can
can't spell that
autocorrect to
one.
fix them.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
but
you're right.
pronouncing them on live,
Mhm,
yeah, so, but yeah, so, there's sometimes in writers groups there can be a bad dynamic,
mm,
where people get over critical. Different writers don't understand the different genres properly, and so
right,
a horror writer is trying to give a comedy writer feedback, and even though there's a lot of similarity between the surprise dynamic between horror and comedy, they're just different
mm,
genres.
mhm,
And so sometimes, the feedback is not great. Sometimes it's given in a very um, not constructive way or domineering way, and that can make the writers group go sour. But writing is a lonely art.
mm,
You do a lot of for professional writers, they just spend a lot of time alone. They just have to in order to get page count out.
mhm,
And so they are drawn to community. They just need and thrive with being able to talk with other writers and work through the elements of story, the esoteric as well as the pragmatic stuff. Uh,
mm.
so usually community is born when you have a certain framework. You can't so I'm not gonna go there because I don't wanna get political. But
Okay,
basically, um it's usually helpful to have like a container, a framework to build a community from.
mm,
Usually, the best frameworks are the ones that unite people who have different worldviews, like C.S. Lewis and Tolkien. They were
okay,
totally, completely different people and
mhm.
hated each other in the
Well,
beginning. They didn't hate each other, but
I
one
like
was
I think
really
they were
pragmatic,
friends.
and then they became fast friends in the Nordic
Right,
folklore, whatever it was called thing. Feel free to correct me in the comments what it was. Um, but they they had a love for the Old Norse stories, and they
mhm,
had a love for Old English and old literature and writing, and their friendship kind of bloomed over time.
mm.
That's the type of community we want and need.
Okay,
And
that's a
so
good
these
example.
silos of groupthink, which are good and bad, we need community to not feel alone, but we also need fresh water and salt water to mix so that the water doesn't go stagnant in like in a pond.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a nice poetic thing, and I
Yeah, no, it
somehow
is.
happened to pull that together. So I'm going to shut
That's
up now.
great. Well,
Like,
sometimes the spirit of the topic embodies like through us. So oh yeah, so in the comments they're saying that the address isn't working. So Valerie, can I don't know why it isn't, but
oh
maybe do you want to invite her to the Writers
yeah,
River?
let me. I'll
Maybe
take me just a few
my
moments. My mouse is.
invitation
I do
doesn't
have
like.
Discord open, so give me a second.
Sure.
Let me go to the writer server.
Yeah, maybe I haven't been an admin in a while, so maybe it was like, no, you don't get to share it. I don't know.
You might have. Let's see. Let's let's do. Your invite link is good for 7 days. Let's do that so we don't get spam with spammers from YouTube. Um, okay. Let me see if my thing will work for you. Oh, I have to join the chat. Here we go. Connect. I have to connect my YouTube account.
Oh wait, why can't you just share the link?
I'm in the StreamYard.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. In order to connect to the StreamYard chat thing, I have
Oh yeah,
to.
because mine I have it just here. Okay, well you can also just send it to me and I can copy it and then say as well if you're having
I'm
trouble.
I'm okay. Yeah, for some reason I'm messing up here. Okay,
Don't
so
worry
let me
about
send
it.
it to you in private chat.
This is the live
Yeah.
element that's just fun to
Yay,
use.
technology.
I know.
So that's good.
You
That
better
link
believe
should be
it.
good for 7 days.
Okay, let
Um,
me find. Oh, I'm so bad, everybody. Valerie, where's my messages?
okay, so in the top right
Oh,
under
oh,
login
there.
and sign in,
Okay, okay.
there's
I,
private chat and comments.
oh
So
no,
you
no,
wanna.
I found the comments. I'm over on Discord.
Oh,
Ugh.
oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. I thought you
Oh
wanted
no,
me to
no,
sign in.
no, no. Don't worry about it. I'm being a bit
Yeah.
something.
We're being real people here.
We're being, yeah. This is authentic. Whatever. I just
Yeah.
need to find, like, they moved messages. They
So
move.
do
You
you
know
want me
how
to
you
send
have
it
like
to you in
messages.
Discord?
What's that?
Do you want me to send you the link in Discord?
Yeah, yeah. Maybe I'll pop. Maybe you will pop up, and I will be able to find you
Okay.
then.
Let me do that for you. I'll be right back.
You have to leave. Yeah.
Nope, no, no. I mean, like, I'm switching. I can't see you right now. I'm looking at this.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I see. So this is the pleasures of a live stream when you're like, I don't know what I'm doing right now,
Okay,
which is
there
very
we
much
go.
me. Oh,
I
there
just
you.
sent
Okay,
you.
yeah. So I just
I
if you send me a message, it's easier than me having to find.
Yeah,
Okay, here it
I will
is.
send you. Yeah.
This should be good. So I'm gonna put this in the comments here. Copy
So
link. Anyway,
let me give her a quick little technical summary. Uh, what it'll do is it'll want to double check that you want to sign up for this particular Discord server. If you don't have Discord set up on your computer, it probably will be kind of confusing. I think you can log in online. You might have to actually create an account before you can actually join the server.
that might be
Because,
the issue. Yeah, yeah. Getting the app will make it a little easier as well, I think.
yeah, so you should be able to create a. Let me go to comment in case she's commenting or something. Oh, that's you. Okay, you should be able to go to discord.com, sign up for an account, and then it's free. There's no cost or anything. You can sign up for special membership with you can have lots of emojis and all that kind of stuff. You don't have to do that. Um, and then go to the link, and then it'll take you to Discord and say, "Do you want to join this?" It's basically like private groups. That's
Yeah.
so. That's basically the concept of what a server is on Discord. So hopefully that helped with the technology things. It sounds like you're not a Discord person, so I figured a little bit of framework would be helpful.
Oh no, I think it absolutely will
Yeah.
be. It is a hard platform to get on because all the other social media platforms are pretty straightforward. Twitter, you type something, press enter or whatever. Press tweet or press
Yeah.
whatever. It's not Twitter anymore since it's X.
Yeah.
But anyway, same with like Instagram. You like share the picture. But with Discord, it is. I remember being so confused. Like,
Oh, yeah.
what are these things I'm clicking on? I'm still confused when I was trying to find
Yeah.
the messages.
There's some good helpful YouTube Discord server, Discord official YouTube channels you can go to watch tutorials and stuff. They have,
Oh,
like, a
that's true.
beginner thing and all that kinda stuff.
So,
So,
Valerie,
yeah.
to go back to our main um, topic about the anthology, one of the things I thought would be interesting is to hear your perspective on community and meaning, being that this is like the writers of meaning. Oh, yeah,
Yep.
bridges of meaning, writers of meaning,
Right.
and then community anthology work.
Mhm.
Yeah, if you could just give me sort of in your mind or any other ideas that maybe you guys have talked about as a group, what how where those things intersect and what do they have to do with each other? Community
Meaning
and meaning.
community meaning. On the surface level, they don't have anything to do with each other, but in our little corner of the internet, we like talking about more meaningful, deeper, complex things. It gives us life, it gives us energy, it gives us connection. We
Mm,
don't really have many people in our real lives that we can talk about this with, except for people in the estuary group.
mm,
Um, that's uh, there are a lot of highly educated people, not just teachers, academics, and doctors, but there's like lay people who are like carpenters, like Chad the alcoholic who said hi to us earlier. Hi,
oh yeah,
Chad.
I meant to say hi. Hi,
Yeah,
Chad. Sorry for gone.
and people like himself and others who work in different trades, like Michael who does cabinetry and stuff like that, and they have a lot of intellectual free time while they do hard labor.
Mm,
Um, and So it's not restricted to a particular class of people. It's more a particular of what they call psychographics of people who want to, you know, not just eat, not just have milk, but have more meat in their
mhm,
conversation and their relationships to have deeper, not just emotional, but they actually have a mind. I'm not an intellect or an academic myself, but I like talking about these things, and sometimes I not even I can't even contribute, you know, a lot because I'm more of a writer and a daydreamer, and I'm like, oh, I chase ideas, ooh the
mhm,
shiny, ooh the shiny,
mhm,
um, but I'm like we built what's part of the charm in uh, um, facilitating a cohesive whole in our little corner of the internet is talking about meaningful topics, or talking about politics in a meaningful, deeper, richer way than just like, calling the other people the poopy head. It's like, there's, so I think you and I are like tired of the poopy head conversations,
mhm,
and
mhm,
they're the enemy. And, if they would just go away, the world would be a better place.
mm,
And we understand life is not like that.
mhm,
It's like, and, you know, so I probably should answer for myself because I'm like, I'm just a writer and a learner. I'm not some great thought leader or some expert or anything like that. I just learn a lot. I
mm,
think about it and I regurgitate, summarize what I kind of understand from other sources and like, oh, yeah. And then I put my own little spin on it and that's about it. But
mhm,
um, I think talking about deeper things leads to deeper connection. That's my
mm,
perspective.
mm,
Um, I have some friends who are dear, wonderful friends, who I can't talk about this stuff with. They
Mm,
have not invested the 20, 50 hours of watching Peterson and Vervaeke and this, all the sub creators like yourself, on in our little corner of the internet talking about this stuff. It's like
mhm,
I haven't even started watching a bunch of the sub creators because I just don't have the time, and I
mhm,
have more time on my hands than most people.
mm,
Um, and but there's a certain vibe and a certain it just seems richer and more fruitful. I think a lot of us were attracted to Paul Van de Clay because he was mentally processing all this stuff, and we're like, these are really interesting thoughts,
mm,
you know, and I, and that gave us a taste of what the conversation could be like. It could be as simple as joking around with memes and gifs on Discord in general too, asking how each other are doing, to like exploring different topics from very esoteric spaces. And
mm.
it gives us time to actually ponder and think about this stuff. It's like one of my videos in my Nara Fellowship channel, which I'm just starting. I have like two videos, so it's like,
Well, we
um,
gotta start somewhere.
yeah. Um, but I just like one of them. I was trying to explain who I was in the video because that's what you're supposed to do with branding. So,
Mm,
anyhow, I was saying, I'm a centered person, but I'm grounded enough to be able to explore the margins without the margins controlling me.
ooh, that's good.
And
I like that.
so and so that's where many of us are, I think. There's
Mm,
there's a lot of fringe people in our little corner of the internet, you know. I don't think he's very fringy, but I think he's part of the margin is Sam, you know, the non-Trinitarian,
mhm,
whatever the proper name. I apologize, Sam. I'm butchering this. I mean, you got persecuted totally horribly in the beginning in
mm,
Discord, and I was like, oh my god. But you stayed the course, and you were just like trucking and having those dialogues, and you just earned everybody's respect.
mhm,
You are a man worthy of respect. I may not agree with you, and you're probably way smarter than I'll ever be, but I like you. You're amazing. And that's the type of dialogue we have is revealing people's true characters.
mm,
Even if we have, you know, uh, perspectives from the margins. I'm kind of a quirky duck myself. I'm like this, I'm a mix of like all this weird stuff. But not weird, but like I'm very centered and very marginally at the same time,
okay.
so like yeah. But
It fits the
um
description then, yeah.
yeah, so it's kind of, you know, where the misfits kind of gather.
Mm, the Island of Misfits toys
And
from,
where the
Rudolph the
misfits are
Red-Nosed.
welcome. Where the
Yeah.
misfits are welcome. And some
Mm,
of us, there's some poor guys in the Discord server that are really clear, you know, they they have they need to learn some social skills.
mm,
Um, but they're welcome too. Just
mhm,
they need a space to just be themselves, as quirky as they are, and at least we have that at Bridge of the Meaning. Um,
mm,
I think I'm I'm pretty open-minded, but I'm very like I know what I believe, and I may not be able to articulate why I believe what I believe and everything, but I it doesn't scare me when people talk about alien or Bigfoot. I'm like, okay, who knows? They
mm,
didn't think pandas were real for like God knows how long, and they're
mm,
real. It's like
mhm,
I don't know. Um, but you know, it's good to talk things through,
mhm,
and I think if we could have more meaningful conversations and mutual respect,
Hmm.
without all the, you know, poking each
Bravado,
other
I
with
guess?
yeah,
Yeah.
more the poking each other with all of the trigger words that get us all upset.
Mhm.
It's like
Mhm.
we can just if we can just know, okay, they are a conservative or liberal, whichever is the opposite of you,
Mhm.
but, it's like if they have the mind and the character traits of, like, Dr. Jim, you know, they're worth listening to.
Hmm.
There's stuff going on that we don't know or see that they see, like Peterson likes to talk about. They might know something.
Hmm.
It's like and, um, I do get because I grew up in media production, I did grow up in just I love the the more intellectual conversations.
Hmm.
It doesn't have to be, like, academic, but it can be just more, like, broader, interesting topics and stuff that kinda come up naturally.
Hmm.
I don't get that with some of my conservative friends.
Hmm.
What I do get from my conservative friends is stalwart friends who are there no matter what,
Hmm.
you know? And, I get that from both because 'cause I'm just very lucky and fortunate,
Mhm.
but there's just, and there's a camaraderie you get from being with like-minded people that's a rarity for me, not the norm,
Hmm.
which I find refreshing.
Mhm.
But I'm always kind of exploring stuff, so I'm like, I'm a mental explorer. It's like, "Oh,
Oh,
what's this about? What's this about?"
yeah. Well,
You know?
that's
Yeah.
that's I mean, be curious, not judgmental, which apparently Walt Whitman did not say. I
Yeah.
found out. Anyway,
Wow.
but regardless, whoever said it is
Yeah.
they're onto something.
Be curious, but not judgmental, yeah. There's
Mhm.
we can always learn something from something, you
Mm.
know? And, we sometimes learn stuff of, like, not why something is not good. It's like,
Mm.
"Oh,
Mhm.
yeah, that's kinda important."
Mm.
Um, but, yeah, I love people, my dad loved people, so it's like I just love being around a variety of interesting people, you know?
Mm.
I I should couch that, that it's better to be with someone who has good character traits and kinda boring
Mm.
than with people who are very interesting people but have really bad character traits.
Well, that's the allure of those folks, and then you
Yeah, but
regret it
who
later.
but the people who tend to gravitate to our little corner of the internet
Mhm.
are kinda both,
Mm. Mhm. Yeah.
in their quirky little ways. They're
Well,
kinda both.
that's something that I do enjoy looking at is seeing where what point of interest connects with this human being. What do I yeah, what am I interested that you're interested in? Where can we
Mhm.
connect? And I,
Yeah,
I actually think that's something that everybody it'd be great if everybody had that as a goal whenever they meet somebody. I don't like making universal statements, but I did just there.
no, it's okay.
It's good. I
Yeah,
think I think it's helpful if you're almost look at people as puzzles and you're like, where do we both think something is interesting?
right.
It's
Yeah,
it leads to these conversations that you're talking about that with this community and why there's meaning there. So
yeah. So, I apologize, I kinda rambled.
oh
I'm
no,
doing
no,
a
no,
verbal
it's good.
I'm a verbal
I wanted to
processor,
hear.
and my
No,
verbal
no.
processing was kind of,
I'm
"Let
also
me
a
find
verbal
the answer." I
processor.
let the
Yeah.
bump all the way around "Ah, here's the answer."
You did no, no, I did. No, and I do enjoy hearing the journey of the
Yeah,
answer to it. I'm a
yeah,
verbal processor as well, and I'm
yeah.
also a
Yeah,
fellow tangenter.
yeah, yes.
So, but I think I probably will wrap up soon. I've got to get my kids from school pretty soon
Oh,
here. But
sure, yeah,
I it was very humbling to hear that this is happening like on the writer's server and all these, really really cool, interesting people are putting their creative works in together to
yeah,
sort of to come together as a community and
mhm,
to be sort of putting this mark, making their mark
yeah,
together. And I
and
think there's something really beautiful in that.
one of the things I neglected to, explain in the beginning when you were asking me about the whole project was actually what we're aiming to do is to we're not looking to make any money from this for ourselves.
Mhm, mhm.
Um, we're hoping to raise money to help facilitate paying for artwork and stuff like that.
Okay.
And
I'll put
also if
the, if you wanna send me the links, I can
yeah,
put them in the
and then
description.
um, outside of expenses for the book, all the proceeds are going to go to Paul Van de Clay's ministry. We want to
Okay.
support him. So if they end up donating and or buying a book, put all the extra proceeds will go directly to Paul. That's the
Okay.
way we wanted to work it. So, 'cause he's our inspiration for helping to facilitate this community thing, and we want to help promote it. So,
Well,
yeah,
that's great. Thank you so much for coming on my channel and telling me and us all about the, this cool project, and
sure.
yeah,
You're
I
welcome.
hope to see it flourish and that, yeah, everything goes well with it, so
Thank you very much.
thanks so
So,
much, Valerie. I
you
appreciate you coming here. And thank you
thank you.
everyone who stuck around and joined in. And even if you didn't stick around, thanks as well.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Bye,
Thanks for all the
everyone.
commenting, everybody. Take care.
Okay.